Phew. So, return to Berlin. Okay. Ich kaufe noch schnell. Das muss ein.
The legend! He's back and thirsty. I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up.
Tequila Sunset.
Okay, egal. What? Stop. Just up ahead. Danger. What you have isn't enough. You'll need more firepower, ranged weapon. What am I supposed to do? Be prepared to wield Ruby's double-barreled pistol. Okay. I'm not sure I feel ready for what lies ahead. Lieutenant Franz, then you'd better get ready, he says, then quickly adds, whatever happens, I've got your back. Okay.
I'm all out of shits to give, loincloth. Welcome to the fucking reckoning.
Put your goddamn gun down. People are gonna get hurt. We need to talk this through, all right?
Shut up! You're not gonna talk yourself out of this, loincloth shit fuck.
There's a mercenary at the gates. His chest rises and falls under the ceramic breastplate. His fingers reach for the butt of his sidearm. Okay, what's going on here? Lieutenant raises his left hand.
This is a misunderstanding. Nothing irreversible has happened yet. You can just return to your unit and forget all about this.
The Kipt is merciful, willing to spare us if we just forget about our murdered and humiliated commander. I think we should just kill everyone, Corty.
You all drunk. Come to your senses. You won't gun down 7 people in the middle of the street. This isn't a frontier town or a jungle outpost.
Easy, Lizzie. Let me handle it. I know guys like this. I'm sure we can come to a peaceful agreement. Ain't that right, fella?
He's facing overwhelmingly superior firepower, and he knows it.
Peaceful? Nest in your abdominal cavity, like a little wired mouse.
Masked man's words are barely intelligible, but you can hear them.
Fuck, there's a third one. How did we miss something like this?
Lieutenant points to the helmeted figure. The third one, he's the most dangerous of them all, heavily armed. Lieutenant is genuinely worried for his life. You should consult him before getting in there. The big one is the mercenary at the gates, the scab leader.
If this turns into a firefight, we should take him out first.
What do we do?
My plan is not to get killed, but we have to intervene.
He doesn't want to, but he must. We're out of time, there's
The
just...
mercenary tribunal.
Stop! There's the police!
Get lost, comedian. You cops had your chance. Now it's fucking time for some justice.
He licks his lips, waving his gun at the crowd. Losing his balance for a moment, he staggers backward. I think he calmed down a bit.
Big fuck!
It's the only word you can make out. Doesn't sound calm. Easy now, no one needs to die here today.
Oh, people are gonna die today. We're not leaving it like this. These tribals hung him up for everyone to see.
No one is going to kill anyone. Let's just put the guns down and talk like civilized human beings.
With a wordless gurgle, the killer loads his long rifle. The leader gives a small nod to the helmeted man. Suddenly your fingers holding the grip of a gun that has just taken a life tingle. Go for it, it seems to say. Shoot him in the mouth, shoot him before he shoots you. Even if it comes to a fight, it's always a good idea to drag it out first. Get under his skin. Peace, always peace. It has worked thus far. Start with the first idea you have, then move down from that, please. Okay. Who's that? I didn't know you had a third guy. Root is the killer. The armored woman smiles a vicious smile. Root the killer, Hornkloven. Doesn't talk much. I have fucking cunts inside out. The killer? The gunner. He gestures toward himself. The reddest. He nods toward the woman. The killer. He points to the figure clad entirely in ceramic plate. What do you think he does? There on the rim of Hornkloven's helmet, you count little stick figures. 1920, 21. Count the figures. About 50 little stick figures, all of them black, plus 2 little white ones in the end. Kills black people? That's right. He stares at you with watery eyes. Plenty of kept here in River Shoal too. Gee, let's fucking do it. The man presses through his teeth. His hand is on his belt. Jane. Listen, they didn't do it. Yeah, we did it then. Was classier. A bird? He puts his hand on the gun. You fucking tell me a bird killed our colonel? His fingers are twitching, that's a draw reflex. He's about to draw. Inadvertently, the shot was meant for her. She had a past and it caught up with her. She used to work in industrial espionage and... You think I'm fucking stupid? There's a dangerous gleam in his eye. What if I just shoot one of your pals right here, right now, huh? He points his gun at Elizabeth. How about the kid? Go ahead, say inadvertently one more time. Listen, please. She raises both hands. This cop and his drumhead court-martial won't decide who... Your mind grunts to a halt. All you can see is a revolver in a man's armored hand, swaying pointed at her. You move your mouth like a fish gasping for air. No, she wasn't even there. Pulls the trigger, plume smoke erupts from the muzzle. The shot rings in your ears. Low, tinny ring. Then the Hardy Boys yell something. Woman grabs the left side, she's down. Her white shirt soaks blood red around her abdomen. She gasps for air, repeating, I'm okay, I'm okay. She's not. She's bleeding out. If she doesn't get help in 10 minutes, she'll die. Fuck this. The man starts pulling something out of his pocket. From his pocket. There's a coarse shuffle against something. Is it a gun? Gene. The big man raises his hand. Tend to Lizzie, now. He'll be ripped apart. They all will, the moment the third man opens fire, and he knows it. Talk about hanged man. Dangerous. Ask about him first. You don't want personal facts about his dead friend coming out of your mouth. He has to start it. Who are you, Cordy? Sergeant Major Roll Courtner, reporting in to burn his fucking mud hut to the ground. Points at the wording in rags. As he moves, the interlocking pieces of his armor click softly. And then he bellows, for killing, maiming, and humiliating our commanding officer. You are sentenced to death by lead. Isn't your Leela? Everyone says good things about him. He was a talker. Fuck do you mean talker? We've heard testimony. People say he was charismatic, a nice guy to be around. Yeah, like chat up the natives, share leaflets, squeeze a bit of kipped ass here and there. Great fucking idea that turned out to be. Points toward the yard. If Leela was here, he would spare a lot of you. Maybe shoot one for show, but me? He points to himself. I'm not a big fan of public affairs, clay monkey. I gun every one of you down for what you did. Ready to open fire, Major, at your command. This one isn't used to being suited this long. She's uncomfortable, will open fire just to hurry things along. He had blue eyes, didn't he, your colonel? He smiles, pulling his face in a strange way. Baby blue, yeah? Like someone fucked up and put a baby's eyes on a grown man. It was creepy, but bitches like the shit, I guess. Or, I don't know what bitches like. I just know how to mow down cloths. Your colonel did not deserve to go out like that, I promise. I will find his killer. Find his killer? Cop, his killer stands right here. He waves at the man behind you. Shitting your pants and you're standing in the way protecting them. They didn't. The woman holds onto her side, teeth rattling. Shush! He squints at her. Blood's all gone out now. Not so long ago when the rattle starts. One down, girl, 7 to go. Is it nothing? You think you were onto something? You just wasted time. Please act. Small explosion expels the bullet from the chamber. With a puff of smoke, it hits the man square in the chest, producing a soft clicking sound in the armor, like dice rolling. The man doesn't even move. He smiles and says, "Go ahead, give it another try." This time feels different. You aim higher, as if pulled by a magnet. Your hand goes numb from the explosion and a plume of smoke erupts from the gun. Look at Courtner. There's a hole in his cheek. He's not smiling anymore. He stumbles backwards, eyes filled with disbelief, gurgling, muttering something unintelligible. His lips moving, swollen with fear, trying to say, shoot him, but he can't. To your right, the killer raises his rifle and takes aim at you. His moves are steady, but the long barrel of the rifle sways slowly. A lower shot rings, you feel a tapping like rain on your chest plate. Heavy drops of rain, then the sound of dice rolling as the cuirass distributes the shot evenly from plate to plate. You got hit, the armor took most of it, but still your ribcage burns, feels like blood is slowly seeping into your lungs. Lieutenant aims, face pale. Without a tremble, he quietly utters, "God, please." Then 2 shots ring at once, one from Lieutenant Kitsuragi's pistol and the other from the Paul's. It's aimed at Kim, but it misses. You hear a scream behind you. Who screamed? Glenn, dying in a puddle of blood behind you. His mangled torso has 2 gunshot wounds. Blood gushes out of them like red gazees. Oh God, watch out! You see 2 crazed eyes stare at you through all the smoke and the panic. With blood gushing from his face, the man raises his pistol at you. Then he squeezes the trigger. Can't. There's no time. Something inside your pelvis explodes. Your entire lower body is on fire and your legs can't support you. You fall down like a ragdoll. The pain is too immense to scream. It pushes the air out of your lungs. Everything goes dark, a distant blur as you recede into it. Listen through the darkness and the pain. The Hardy Boys are screaming, fighting, dying. Someone jumps over you. Nearby gunfire shatters glass. Stop! The cop! Protect the cop, he's down! What do I see? Nothing. A persisting darkness, dancing lights of pain. Distant shadows cast by them, like a hellish play. Out of it, a silhouette appears, crouching over you. You hear a familiar voice filled with urgency and fear. You're bleeding out. There's a white shadow that smells like apricots. That's always there. Stay with me. You feel burning hot tears streaming from your eyes. Shouldn't have called her. Now she hates me. Yes, keep talking. Lieutenant pushes down on your wound hard. You hear me? Stay awake. But you can't. It's so hard. Your eyelids grow heavy and the sounds ever more distant. And a cold comes over you. Kim too is somewhere far away. Almost gone, when suddenly you sense something behind him. A slender white shadow towering. Someone stands there raising a pistol at him. The lieutenant does not see it. He's pushing down on your wound with both hands. Scream immediately. He's gonna die. No, Kim! No! You scream. Behind you! From your bloody lips, your eyes are full of fear. There's no room for hesitation. The lieutenant turns around and fires, his body falling on yours in the course of the motion. You hear a faint scream, a woman's. Then the sound disappears like someone pressed stop on the tape. The woman is gone, so is Kim. Then the whole world. This is death.
This is death.
One more door, baby. One more door.
Will I be a ghost now?
Brother, you already were a ghost. Up there screaming along with all of them, scaring each other, haunting each other. It's the living who are ghosts. The dead are silent. They don't rattle windows or write letters in blood. The living do. Leave them behind. Rest.
Oh, let me back into the fight.
The fight? There is no fight. The fight is over. It was lost 1,000 years ago. You have laid here forever. Keep falling deeper. Take the door. He's not taking it. His body is not taking it. Oh God, no. He's not disintegrating. He's swelling up instead. Over the hours, hurting, moaning in his sleep, and rotting, and being disinfected, and smelling of drugs, and feeling saliva in his mouth, drifting in painkillers, thrashing in his wound sleep.
He can't go, not before the case is solved. There's a radio in the distance, a radio of the world, playing sounds. Good morning, Elysium. Soon you will return to the world.
Hours turn to days. Soon we will get up again and go through it again. Finally we know what the infernal engine was outside. The clarion call. It was him. He is the infernal engine. He never stops. He only gets worse.
You see Kim's familiar shape in the orange jacket turns double and triple from the pain. It's nothing, your life, that's what matters. Kim. Sunrise Parabellum. The lieutenant says he's in the middle of a freshly cleaned room, with a fan above his head like a halo. His face is covered in bruises. What happened? What happened? You shot the major in the face. A firefight ensued. Is he dead? Yes. Bloodstained killer. Swallow. As retaliation, their rifleman tried shooting you. He hit the cuirass. I heard it go off. I was looking for a clear line of sight to him. He sounds a tiny bit sorry he did not find it before you got hit. I shot and wounded him, while Glenn took a bullet in the spine. It was meant for me. He did not survive. There's a pause. This is not the first person to die in his place. He goes on. Titus, Fat Angus and Theo charged. Angus and Theo did not make it. They both died before they made it to intensive care. Titus survives. So do Elaine and the musician. I forget his name.
Eugene?
Yes, he is still alive too. You were bleeding out by then. I think you said something about your wife. And you warned me. I was able to disarm one of them, the Paul, before she got the jump on me. Thank you. I killed her. Lieutenant takes a cigarette from his coat pocket and lights it. Bitter smell fills the room, and that's what happened.
I thought you only smoked one a day.
This is the one.
And they're dead, the rest of the mercenaries?
He nods. Everard had their bodies returned to Cranel for a funeral. The company is yet to retaliate.
Why?
Because we deterred them. Or Joyce did. Maybe the harbor, in full lockdown, is too costly a target. Or maybe he breathes in a fume, thinking. Maybe they are simply taking their time and will attack soon. I don't know.
How many casualties on the Union side, total?
5. Glenn, Theo, Shanky, and Angus, the fat one. He took a lot of bullets. There's a pause. And Elizabeth too. Elizabeth Beaufort was her name. The gardener.
She did not make it?
No. She bled out before Everard's surgeon could help her. Everard sent his personal doctor, but he shakes his head. A costly loss for the Union. She was being trained for leadership.
If I would have presented the theory better to the leader.
She never had a chance. She should not have been there in the first place. There was no way to convince them. Stop this line of thought now, you're too broken for ghosts.
And that's...
Oh, he nods.
It's a total shit show, Kim.
Yes, officer, he says calmly. 7 people are dead. It's not a success.
+1, Ruby.
But what's done is done. The violence is cordoned off. The Hornets did not get into the beehive. He rubs a swollen chin. The worst scenario has not materialized yet. And he smiles. We are still alive, both of us. His smoking has hunched back. You have it worse, but he took a real beating. That cigarette has medicinal purposes.
How bad am I hurt?
Reasonably bad. You were shot in the left quadriceps. That's your thigh. It appears no major arteries were nicked. The bullet was removed and a bacterial infection treated with mercurochrome. He points to your shoulder. The bruising in your shoulder is negligible. The armor took the brunt of the fire.
Can I walk?
We will see.
You won't be able to dance much, that for sure. You should be able to live with limping around though. Are you hurt?
Not very. He rubs his chin. I have a concussion from that woman beating me with the butt of a gun. I try to not move too much. Things would be worse if you didn't warn me. There's a pause. Thank you. I did not see her coming. Stupid of me.
Has anyone from my station been to see me?
No. A man and a woman sit in the front seat of an armored motor carriage. The woman is driving, the man lights a cigarette. Jean Vicquemer is his name. The asphalt vanishes under the wheels of the machine. Ahead, harbor cranes rise to the sky. Back to that shithole, he says.
Isn't that strange? I called your station after the fight. The injury was locked in. They told me they've sent officers to join you on the site. Odd. You haven't seen any, have you? There's a pause. I'm sure they are worried about you. If not my station, then who treated me? I did. Thank you. No need. Okay. Easy now. Lieutenant turns double again before your eyes. An orange hue of pain. You can take it, just don't lean on that leg of yours too heavily. Your balance is way off. You feel like you're about to fall over on that thing. How are you? I feel fantastic. Let's rock. He nods. What happens now, Kim? What happens now, Kim? I honestly don't know. God, because I totally do. Do you? Because we can't talk to Everett. The harbor is in lockdown. Everyone in there is outside your grasp now. Our grasp now. And Joyce is left too. Joyce is gone? Yes. She left yesterday morning to meet the board of Wild Pines. Or that is what I've heard. There's a pin somewhere in the machine that keeps Granel from sending in a death squad. He looks out the window. Maybe it's her. Maybe she kept her end. Either way, Ruby's gone. And Classy too. We really should have arrested her, you know. Wait, Classy is gone too? Ah yes, you know. She left 20 minutes prior to the tribunal showing up. I asked Mr. Guard. Turns out it was a bad idea not to arrest her, but he shrugs. Maybe it was a good deed that will pay off in heaven. Who would have figured? Who did it then, Kim? Who killed the hanged man? I don't know. I think the dangerous theory you presented on Classy was wrong. We have not found a motive or a weapon for her. Honestly, I think our investigation has not produced a single credible suspect. His voice is calm, matter-of-factly. What about the hole in the wall? Someone's checking her out. I don't know. He rubs his neck. That's been there for years. The fucking maples, Kim. The flowers. What? Yank it out and show the dried flower while it falls to pieces. This one, remember? Every piece of garbage in the city is not connected to the case. You don't have to keep everything. Just because I'm La Puta Madre's peon, isn't it? Don't be narcissistic. Half the cops in Revachol West are his peons. Even if you are, it is not a decisive factor in this case. The goddamn footprints! Yes, he says. God cursed the footprints. Not solving the case for us. But... Oh, diable. There's still a 28% possibility the shot came from a distance. We should go upstairs, rethink the ballistics. In situ... a light, not through some pain. I agree with this. What else? There are all these old bunkers and weapon caches, Revolutionary Era. We could find thousands more if we wanted. All of Revachol is full of them. But they seemed so mysterious. I can't believe they're fucking useless. No need to be melodramatic. An antique bullet from a Bell McGrath 44.6mm. How hard can it be to find one? How hard can it be? It's extremely easy. There are thousands lying around. We found one. All completely unusable. It's precisely how easy it is to find one that makes the bullet useless. Okay, so once more. Clausia has escaped? Absolutely. He nods. There's no other way to go about it. We screwed up. He's made his peace with it. He's had the time to do so. The miracle hasn't happened yet. It's not over yet. He doesn't know what to reply. Looks out of the window and then back at you. It's morning outside, you think. You know what I think about solving crimes? He arcs his brow, the ceiling fan patiently spinning overhead. Solving crimes is hard. It really is very hard. That concussion must be making him dizzy. You're not ready to give up, are you? No. There's a short pause. Short pause. Are you ready to limp? I'm ready. Good. There's a pause. Where do you want to limp? We should check Clause's room upstairs. Why not? He extinguishes the cigarette on the sole of his boot. Another look at the window, perhaps. The one he was shot through. I don't know. I can't think of anything better. See gleaming white enamel. No bottles inside. Look, the door is open. You can walk right into Kim's room. Ooh. Attempt to stop the expression from happening. Ah. Stereo 8 player has been reunited with its right speaker. Newly replaced glass shining in the morning light. Yet traffic outside, back in the world again. Oh. Alarm is set for 6:50 AM. Medicinal supplies on the cupboard. Mercurochrome, scalpel, antibiotics.
Half-finished paperwork. These papers bear the stamp of the RCM. They appear to be fragments of the lieutenant's paperwork, half-finished. Make out notes on this and other recent cases. I had guard open the door to your room. He closes the notes. You were running a low bacterial fever the first night. Thank you for keeping this thing alive a little longer. It would have been easy were it not for my concussion. We both got lucky considering the odds we faced. Let's go. Okay. Just that leg hurts. Maybe if you don't run, it'll be okay. It looks like she's left something on the table. Next to stacks of bills, you see a note, a few lines jotted down in large, uneven handwriting just as the writer was about to rush out the door. I'm sorry I fucked everyone over. P.S. I didn't kill him. P.P.S. Gift upstairs. A gift. Lieutenant turns to the staircase suspiciously, looking for any signs of another presence in the shadows above. Sam, she left in a hurry. It's hardly surprising. What could this gift be? I'm not drawing my gun yet, but I don't like gifts. He says he's not, but his hand moves instinctively toward his holster as he studies the note. Red thread made of nylon leads out of the roof onto out of the room onto the roof. Thread is tied to the antenna. You see the same two neon lit shapes, man and woman, only now a red thread bisects the room, pointing from the antenna outside to the cupboard on the wall. This is ballistics. She's left a trajectory for us. Lieutenant tests the thread with his finger. Drawn taut, it rebounds instantly. A ray of backward motion explodes from his mouth to the roof outside. A prime to then widen into a radius of locations in Martinez. B prime, B. Where does the thread lead? It suggests the bullet came from the extreme upper quadrant of possible angles from a point beyond the roof. B triple prime. The island in the bay. Is she trying to tell us the shot came from the islet? He nods, unless she thinks the perpetrator was standing on the ring antenna. That is where the thread seems to point. How did she know how to do this? She was there that night. She would have known precisely where the bullet hole was in the glass. It also looks like there may be more to her skill set than we know. The question is, should we trust her? This is her way of saying she's sorry. I find it hard to believe, but at this point, what difference does it make? This is also the only point of origin we haven't ruled out yet. So it is. For a second he seems tired.
Maybe we need to go to the island? The wind blows in from the open window. The lieutenant sighs, looking into the cold distance across the water. He's trying to justify it to himself. Kim, let's go to the fucking island. Okay, let's go to the fucking island. He takes a second to gather himself and says, how do we get there? Joyce Messier had her sloop, but she's gone. Lillian the net picker. She's tearing up her boat. Ah, yes, of course, the village. Let's go. Okay. Un jour, je serai de retour près de toi. One day I will return to your side. The graffiti has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Scar. Looks like Cindy the Skull finally found the words for her masterpiece. Lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger. Looks like it, yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday. I smell heavy fuel oil. And blood. Some of it is even yours. Heavy fuel oil? Isn't that flammable? What are you trying to imply yet, Fingers? You could buy some smoke, light up a ciggy and throw it in there. No, just to see what happens. See if it's flammable. It's better that way. Safer. Yeah. Hab ich keine Zigaretten mehr? Okay, Zigaretten. Measure ist weg. Step back, Lieutenant. Whoa. Fuel oil catches fire immediately with a low hiss, a bright orange flash across the surface of the lead ring. The falling snow turns to vapor above the burning message, mingling with the black snow. What if the words are not directed at the people of Martinez or even the coalition aerostatics above the city? They're meant for something above even those. Disco Elysium. The lieutenant has taken a small step back. He looks at your face, illuminated by the flames, and nods silently. Then the fire falters. The flames warmed him too, not at all in a bad way. Let's go to that island. Yeah. Nice.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
Sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for falling and hurting your knee. I got shot in the foot. It was pretty badass. You would have liked it.
Is this from the shooting in town? Weird gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You should see the other guys. 2 dead, 1 in the hospital.
So you're a killer. That's good, I guess. Better than being dead.
Scoff in a masculine manner. She just looks at you, her tea-length skirt flapping in the wind. I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
We need to get to that island. That won't be a problem. It's wind still, and the tar just dried. She points to a skiff next to the jetty. We got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. Can we borrow your boat? If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull, I just got it nice and yellow, and no drinking on the boat, high as narrow, and no joyriding either. Of course, ma'am, it's only for a day or 2, official police business. She nods. Not along attentively. Crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you. Thank you. We'll use your skiff to get there then. She nods. Please be conservative with the fuel, will ya? I just fill her up. What is a small tank? You're seeing your... Yeah. A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its 2 seats are empty. The boat's belly is a shiny yellow color, industrial paint over fresh tar. The seat reflects off the water along with the factory number A72. Once you get in, that's it. 1 pull of the starter handle and you're off into the bay. Strange trepidation comes over you. Are you sure you want to go now? Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts? Remember what the net picker said, it's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this. You take the engine, Kim, I'll hold the boombox. What? What? How else do we blast ZFM on our way to the island? Fine. It gives you resigned shrug. Let's blast ZFM then. Get in and ride to the island. Finale. Yeah.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Eternally. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever.
The boat comes to a slow stop. Kim turns the engine off, then there's silence. In the silence, a sputter of wings, a flock of quails takes off in the distance. Let's go. Makeshift bridge, the bombs were powerful enough to break the foundation. Rusted chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast. This leads to the depot in Land's End. Lieutenant looks at the mechanism overhead. Ah, yes, so it seems. What do you think it was used for? For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies. You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain. Lock it from whom? From enemies. He looks up ahead. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. The sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
Attention, inflammable. There's lingering trace of mazout in the air. Some fuel has leaked out of the barrel, black, viscous. The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Faraway birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea. What is that flutter? The flock of quail departs, now more than 100 meters away. 102, 105 underneath the flutter. On the islet, there's almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. All rushes swaying on the waterline, long dried leaves chaffing against each other. A great ghost of the air is holding its breath. Kerm? Yes? This is where a lesser man would stop to think about the pain shooting up his right leg and into his groin. Not you. You're concentrated on how... It's really fucking silent on this island. It is. Is that why we're stopping? Wait, I have to listen to one more thing. To the west. The scientists see air moving through the needles of a pine tree. To the east. The faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream, before it the sound of sand. The low tide filtering through its grains, a bird tending to its feathers. Ahead. Low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box. Through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, howling, hollow. A big building. Beyond that, further north. Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air crosses the air corsets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless. Below the silence. Called Mamadakwa. Way out now. Way out in the west. Spurs says ICM, you see a star with little specks in it. The way to get up there, stairs are gone. Careful, the stairs have collapsed. This was once an armament rest. An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth. It's cold now, he concludes, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired. Pour fuel into the tank. Okay. Lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as it tilts. Dark brown viscous fluid pours out and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch. Pull the rope. The recoil wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old war horse before setting down to rattle. That should do it. Where do these wires lead? He looks at the wall socket downstairs somewhere. Tap on this side.
Tank is far from full, but there should be enough inside to keep it going for a day. Books, mostly fantastique and historical fiction. Dishes stained with sauce and fire. Survivor's kitchen. See candles planted on a broken range finder. Moth-bitten bed sheet keeps the wind out. There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner resting on piles of soft-covered books, while linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracul blanket. Someone has been squatting here. Lieutenant inspects the bed. The linen is fresh, recently washed. How recently? You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses. No longer able to hear yourself speak. You know, officer, looks at you with a touch of concern. You can rest here if you're feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead. No time to rest now. Yes, anytime. If you need a rest later, it's okay by me. You don't have to be a hero. Ah. Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized. Sift through them. Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures. Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine Kritik for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp, light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders. Someone's made themselves a home. The lieutenant inspects a softcover. Does anything stand out? Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes, fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor. Nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say. This great blaster must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off it. You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one heavy steel blast door. There's a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small. How do we open this? He looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, then at the lock. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open. He's right, it would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door. You're right, we open the big one. Do you see controls anywhere? I think there's a console just southeast. He shuffles his feet to stay warm. Let's look around. Getting the blaster open seems like the best plan. Okay. Hatch is jammed shut. Water rushes below, far down below. Green paint flakes off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Run your fingers across the keyboard. The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades. What is this then? The console of an antique computation device. The lieutenant points to the wires running into the machine. The generator upstairs with wires coming out. They terminate here. Could this open the blast door? I think yes. Let's see. He points to the emergency dial switch. That one. The emergency open. Okay. Blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. After you, Lieutenant gestures at the opening. Ja, okay, let's go. So, was denn hier unten noch? Firing slit, you can't see inside. Must have been a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. Distance out of cargo ships, signal horns echo on the water. Okay. Rubber dinghy, deflated, broken. Small white flowers blossom all around you. An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth. Then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything. You've retained your eyesight?
My eyesight, yes. Helps me see all this shit.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I viewed the generator, then used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
Reactionary rock and roll music, playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
It was not rock and roll, it was sad FM.
Sad FM, huh? I always hated that station. Phlegmatic, counter-revolutionary dirges. Sadness is a mental illness, a weapon of the bourgeoisie. The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip, gyrating, mental illness music.
Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice, it's a piece of shit. Gets the job done.
Is that a Bell McGrath?
It's a Dragon 446.
A Samaran rifle? How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Xinyao commune. Military aid.
This stayed true to him, he can still make it sing. The Xinyao commune?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from a board.
So I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. We're with the police. Lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You're a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
I am an enemy commander of rank. Put it down. The words, I am an enemy commander, sound cool as iron from your lungs. The old man still hugs his gun.
And what rank would that be, dog?
Lieutenant, you're freighter.
A big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. Pick up the gun. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hand, not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times. Inspect it closer. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm made of walnut. On the butt you see Vespertine writing burnt into the wood. Triangle 446mm made in Xinyao. Okay. Old man keeps following your motions with his gaze. His left arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. Can be used against him to get a confession in time. Who are you? My name, he looks across the water and back at you, is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender. His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull. The Commune of Revachol. The lieutenant forgets to close his mouth. Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the Insulidian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the control area and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. Left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties. How long have you been on this island? 43 years. Oh, he looks into the fire. A wisp of smoke rises from somewhere between the charred logs. I've been on other islands too. I was on Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was on E48, Nameless Sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was, he thinks, 22 years ago. Again, you've been hiding here for 43 years? 43 years and 10 months. That's insane. It's not how a human being should live, but I had to. He grimaces, clearly in pain. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw. He just couldn't. You couldn't give up. He nods. But he can now. What have you been doing during all this time? Hiding, fishing, waiting. He looks across the water. Where it's morning, en rue de Saint-Ghislain, people are walking. The gas streetlights have already been switched off. Further inland in Jamrock, the streets come alive with workers. Men, women, children rushing muddy avenue after muddy avenue. The temperature is rising. Altocumulus clouds from above Precinct 41. 2 police officers step out of the whirling in rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean Vicamer inspects a series of burnt black letters splashed across the plaza mosaic. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west, the fishing village. She glances at a watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing still smoldering. One day, it says, I will return to your side. Always waiting. The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what? For her to return? Her who? Girl, child, revolution. She better come. I too have given my life to Masovian socioeconomics. A waste. He blinks his black eyes. The material base for an uprising is eroded. The working classes betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do. What has he done? Perhaps the confession will lighten the load. What have you done then? Yes, what? To get things going again. The lieutenant steps closer. Fan the flame? There is no flame to fan. He stares right through at him, blinking his dark eyes. There is nothing left of the world, of our dreams. You said you decided your unit. I was just 16 years old. 15 when I was volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. He clears his throat. And of courage too. Lapse of faith? You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Masovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took. For what? For reaction to take hold. What's reaction? Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men. And when was this exactly? May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. He looks north. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds, storm clouds. When he started shelling, it was dark magic. Dark magic? The combined might of international capital, all at once. All the greed and terror in the world tore into reversal. He lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flag tower. He gestures toward it. Out on the floor, the artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon. But I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash, so I said I was going to the map room. Looks east. A terrible shame still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it, the shame and smallness of what he became. You didn't go to the map room. No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak, a mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning, wearing He looks at the sky. What was that? Airships. I climbed out. Closes his eyes. Into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too. Shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. He opens his eyes and stares right through you. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality. Seen what? The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone. Everything you love, all the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. He's silent for a second. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know. What? That the bourgeois are not human. I had to fight it. I had to never stop. The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head, slowly retreating from it. What is this place, this island? It's not an island, Drot. He looks around. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol, and I am its last surviving defender. What was it used for? The congenitally deformed King Philippe II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing against the whole world. You mean a landing? Retaking of Revachol? Coalition military called it Operation Death Blow. Winces. I later found out on the radio they called it Death Blow. You're one of them. Tell me who speaks like that. We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. Tell me something else. No, he shakes his head. Iblis calls it that. Iblis? Like the black-eyed angel. What have you been using this gun for? I've used it for killing people. Killing people? It's a gun, that's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property? I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people. Interesting. Lieutenant nods. During or after the war? There's no after the war. He shakes his head and smiles his teeth. Rotten black. Class war is never over. This is it. You can feel it like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while, but what? This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. Going straight, no euphemisms, he doesn't like those. Oh no, be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal. So which one do I say then? Nothing comes to you. Silence, his black eyes look at you. And in them a chill like electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull. What? All is not as it seems. Detective? Lieutenant turns to you with well disguised impatience. Damn it, ask it already. He wants to say. Okay. I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two? I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer. And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time. So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped? What did I just say? He keeps shaking his head erratically. Suddenly he brushes something out of his eye. What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cranel? Uno? Leans in and cups his ear. He heard you, he just wants to hear you say it. You're in. The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th. Oh yes, that one. He looks up the sky and flexes his tongue. Ugly piece of work, that boy. Did you kill him? The lieutenant takes a sudden step toward him. I am a son of a welder and an officer of the Commune of Reversol. Spits a big one at the lieutenant's feet. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime. A drop of blood in saliva. The gun, the murder weapon, is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air, but what else? There was something you can't remember. I don't need your cooperation, I've got this. Huh. Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there? Here's a real gun, he points to the lieutenant's holster. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those, jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Shorts. Or against automatic rifles with those toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed. Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay, so what? Don't let it divert you. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon. You know what? Lieutenant looks at it. The weapon looks at it. The weapon demonstratively. Right, I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon. Good. Lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line. This feels good, doesn't it? Tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer. Murder. The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more. Like a marionette on some invisible string. This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more. Come on, what am I forgetting? Hey! Wait, here it comes. The goddamn May bells. The dried May bells on Clausius' roof. My head hurts now. Who cares? There were May bells in the grass when you got here and on Clausius' balcony. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausius' bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. Ow. Yes, ouch. So goo, it hurts. Those were not modern prints. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore though, you're not immortal. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you try to stimulate thought processes by hitting yourself. I'm sorry, this didn't do anything. Usually hurting yourself does. Officer, a word. He gestures to talk to you on the side. Now I'm almost there, just let me have a few more punches. Almost where? Almost ready to bleed to death. Looks at the bloodstain on your pant leg. No, come on. The lieutenant's impatient. A word, let's go.
I think we may have these.
Do you think he did it? He nods. From nothing to this in a day. A crooked little smile. This is good. Lieutenant, your freighter. We just need a confession first and then maybe a solid motive later. I'm slapping myself to get ideas. I can see that. Yes, I'm not judging. Okay, let's do this. Remember, Lieutenant whispers, he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything. There's palpable excitement in his tone. He likes him for this a lot, but there's something more too.
Minions of Capital. What do you want?
Joseph Lilyanovich Droz, you're under arrest for the murder of the Colonel here in Martinez. Is what you plan to say before you can get past you're under the lieutenant. Lieutenant interrupts you. Officer, are we sure? His voice is lowered. We could maybe get more. We've been thorough enough. He nods back and turns to the man sitting on the log. Joseph Lilamovich Drost, you're under arrest for the murder of the Colonel Lelai. You will be taken to the nearest precinct holding area for a preliminary investigation. Why? The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words. But you said I would be taken to the... The wind picks up. The silence of on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues like an incantation. Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand? Well, you understand, sir? No, I don't want to. I have to stay here. He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror. He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Your confirmation is not required, sir. The lieutenant turns to you. Now, onto the boat. Wait. Dreck. You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds. Maybe we could all fit in there. We could all fit in the little boat? Actually, no. He scratches his head. Does it have room for 3? Not really. Shakes his head. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but there's something you're not getting here that he's realizing. Or what? Lieutenant shakes his head frustrated. Watches over him there while I come back for you. Maybe I can just ask the net picker to watch him. He's no harmless old man. The lieutenant shakes his head. The fucking world. He stares at something, who knows what, in the dust. This world. What is this? No, listen now. You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct. No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you. No need to be polite. Maybe you're right. This world, the old man repeats. What are you talking about? Who's this? His voice drowns out in a sudden gush of wind. Us? Irgendwie habe ich ein bisschen das Gefühl, dass hier gleich alles explodiert. Skin is crawling suddenly. Das Viech ist echt. Was? The delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb. To then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence. What is that? The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. What are you talking about? The giant stick insect. He looks confused. There's nothing there. The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun. There is, I see it. Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds. Cam, can you see it? I can see it. 4 simple words. Thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. It's really there, spinning slowly in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender. Be very, very careful, the lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant anthropod. What the fuck? The creature stands on long, stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, wide and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. The segmented antennae move with apprehension, searching for something that's not there. Take long, deep breaths, slow down your pulse, don't move yet, and when you do, be light as a feather. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemicals. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin or so of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crooked by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water. Raise your hand slowly. Insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly there's silence. Raise the other hand too. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life. Its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white like stalks of porcelain, hinting above you. Shifting round in the reeds around you in the muddy water, you notice some of its hind legs apparently standing on the water from time to time. It's that light. Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely. You are right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature. On its segmented lower lip, it looks to be foaming slowly. Foam is white, then yellowish. The faintest smell like you've never felt before, like burnt roses. Kermit's foaming. Careful, it may be poisonous. Lieutenant watches you apprehensively. The foam slowly turns a dark shade like burnt caramel. As the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating, the little bubbles begin to burst one by one, letting out that same smell like summer burning. Tell me, what are you doing? I exist. What exactly are you? I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulidian Isla. For the last 350 years I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and buoys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the Suzerain, also by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first but did not stay have not seen me. I've stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the Citizens Militia in Revachol district of Martinez, March 51. Are you a miracle? No, you are the miracle. How? The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively median life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The Pale, too, came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Cnidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There's an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. Wait, the Pale is human-made? It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. Great unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind. I don't have that kind of power. You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Given enough time, you would wipe us all out and replace us with nothing, just by accident. How? You suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing, only much worse. Worse how? Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nerve mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day or just forget? I will be extra careful not to blink, stick insect. Don't worry. Please be. Or one day one of you will close your eyes and sigh. And open them to see that none of this ever existed. I exist too. Tell me what it's like for you. It's wunderbar. Yes, holy is the Lord of hosts, and all the earth is filled with his glory. Now I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images. A kind of darkness being intruded upon. Transient, dim, moist? Intruded upon by what? Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. Swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. The fuck is happening to me right now? I don't know. You're just a shadow for me. Far away, faintly transmitting, but for a curious smell. You're the type of animal I would like to be. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Why do you ask? Sometimes when molting, I regrow a lost limb. One time something went wrong and a small leg replaced a missing antennae. That's cool. No, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. You don't have a foot there now. Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antennae again. I am a detective. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? The killer. He's in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration. You're destroying him? Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads, but he has looked at me too long, and I'm destroying him. Is this a dream? What is happening? No, you're awake. I'm real. Light is forming me. This is real. Where does this come from? All this around us, the world. Not even the birds know that, not even the water lilies. And all we can do is beat our fists again against it, day after day, with no answer. You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth, yum yum, or a reed. Wait, so you look like a reed and you eat reeds? Yes, they don't mind. Have you accidentally eaten another reed phasmid? Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. Cam, am I having a violent epileptic seizure? It doesn't look like that, no. What does it look like? You're just staring at it, he whispers. Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind. Okay. After a second, the lieutenant asks, is it somehow related to the case? The case is meaningless compared to this. I have totally transcended the case. Transcended. I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species. I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all. Now there's one more. Of all the creatures I have met, you are the kindest. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman. Turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class. I can't. She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that. Okay, Kim, take the picture. Okay. With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level. There's no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you. In 3, the man whispers. His voice is tense. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you. I got it, you hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and the sky, and you as a shadow before it. For all time. Carefully pat its scythe-like forearm. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over, its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning! Oh, okay, pull your hand away. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave, from its stupor. Okay, we got it. Don't say it. Are you sure this may be the only chance you get to touch it? Ja, ich will's nicht aus Versehen kaputt machen. We got it, Kim. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life like a record, continuing where it left off. In a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you. They are filled with adoration and curiosity. The adoration of some wheel or dominion spinning around its parent deity, and the curiosity of a common wasp tasting sugar in a fizzy drink. As a turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water. The long limbs carry its feather weight without breaking its surface. Yeah! And just like that, it's gone. Skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, In the place, it stood bobbing there among the reeds, a collection of items. It's gone. The lieutenant looks north, with his hand raised to his brow. Oh, what's that in the reeds? He squints. Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look. It can walk on water? Apparently yes, like a water strider only. He shakes his head with amazement. I've never seen anything like that in my life. What now? What now? The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He puts his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black. In some kind of strange semi-catatonic state. I suspect not looking so good. We need to check on him.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
So how could you not see the phasmid? See? He stares at the reeds and falls silent. Mr. Dross? The man does not respond. He keeps staring. Black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking. Touch his shoulder gently. The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail. He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. Lieutenant inspects him gently. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Dross? Trembling mouth appears to sigh. Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. What happened to this man? Old age and shock. He looks at him, then you. I think it's the phasmid. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid. The combined stress. He looks at you. But you think it's something more than that, don't you? There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke. I talked to the phasmid. It said it's destroying him. You should be more careful, detective. Are you sure it wasn't having an effect on you? Maybe. Well, anyway, it's only trying to remain unseen that the degradation is a side effect. A valid hunch. Long-term exposure to something like that could be neurodegenerative. Also, please be careful when approaching unknown species in the future, detective. He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it in its company. He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect maybe looks at this notebook. I've absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all this. He shakes his head in disbelief. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo. We found some things in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Dross. Stares into the reeds. The words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should. Tap on the helmet on your head. Nothing, just dull staring. Not even rage left wherever he is. If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the app would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible. Show him the detached scope. He turns his eyes to it. Lost. You lost it, Mr. Dross? He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes. He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there, with the help of a magpie phasmid. The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hand. The sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot? Silence, not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being. I'm going to let you rest now, Mr. Dross. The plastic cape flaps around his face. In a gust of wind, his back is slouched and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding, his pupils are returning to normal. The strength has all gone out of him, just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit, trousers and a windbreaker. Hang tight. We should think about getting back to the mainland to get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long. Okay. Skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet, but for the sound of conversation on the water. There's someone inland waiting for you. 2 men and 1 woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. Reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
You're quite the tide brought in.
Man without sunglasses says. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head.
I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad people are looking for it. Also, you look like a fucking idiot.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Mar, and this is your special task force, or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We have come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island where our investigation led us. We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he is in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
No, Kim, you've gotta have my back. Let's destroy them.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
What is this about?
Harry, we want to help you. Trant, I believe this is where you come in.
It's the horse-faced woman. I don't know why you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should never address her using those words again.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Where have you been all this time? There was a mercenary tribunal. God damn it, Harry. He shifts his weight across his arms and looks you in the eye. You told us to fuck off. He said we are cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die. All will burn, Satellite Officer Wickamar. Make no mistake about it. Here we go. Alcoholic delirium. Visions all must pay. Shakes his head. Duped again. No one's who they say they are. Duped. Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily. Ghana, scab leader. This, Gentle Lieutenant. Tell me at least you are who you said you were. Yes, I'm still Kim Kitsuragi. Still a lieutenant from Precinct 57. Still caught up in this crossfire too. So, Trent Heidelstamm turns out to be a special consultant, Trent Heidelstamm. Yes, I'm Trent Heidelstamm. I never said I wasn't Trent Heidelstamm. Wait, what was up with the kid then? Michael? Michael's my son. Oh, okay, sorry. No problem. So what are you special consulting here? What indeed? He looks at the dilapidated shacks than you. I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory. He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on. Okay. None of this is ringing any bells. The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage, Trant. Trant turns to the blonde. This is where you come in. How bad is it? Well, he doesn't have visible tremors. He talks without slurring. He can't drive a boat. He's standing reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic. As displayed in the station call, our interrogation with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, he makes air quotes, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting. Interesting? Yes. Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, it turns to you. What do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism. Psychotraumatic amnesia. Trent, turns as a special consultant. I can go for that. Shit Kid is a broken man, always has been. Who isn't? I know I am, but you know what? He turns back to you. I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both. Neuen Rekord aufgestellt, was? But Detective Wigmar, she injects. He has blanked out before. I have? Yes, a couple of times, after some of the more serious benders. Pauses, remembering. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mirror. 2 cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the New World mirror. Those were recent. Those cases were hard on you. Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it. Prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak. What do you mean? Well, here is my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect. Look at the sensory input here. He gestures toward the scenery. So, Streamspiel seit einer Green Mile Länge. Ja, fast 2,5 Stunden jetzt. Ich hätte nicht gedacht, dass ich das noch so lang weiter rauszögert. Look at the ruins, the neon, listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years, as a police detective. He's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He nods confidently. He just needed for it to end. Okay, Trump, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the Major Crimes Unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that. He is not a cretin. And he is able to do work, if not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective. Leadership, no! What now? No, nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. Okay. Yeah, just stand there. It's cool. Really? No. Now we discuss that. He points to the water. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? The time had come, tequila sunset. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho. He grabs his stomach in mirthless laughter. Tequila sunset, no sunrise because you're almost dead. So funny, Harry. Thank you for fucking me. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. You know that, right? You're gonna get fired, and I'm gonna pay till I die. It doesn't matter. He exhales to comes breathing your badge, Harry. Show me your badge. I got my badge right here. In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the wet plastic and the badge slips out of your hand. Catch it. Yeah. Not today, badge. The drama is unnecessary, I got the badge, all is well. The man is unimpressed by the piece of plastic in your hand. And your gun? I have a new gun now. I don't care if you have a new gun. I only care about your old gun. Your official sidearm. You lost it, didn't you? This is a great gun. Maybe it's not some kind of flashy sidearm, but still. I don't care. Where is the gun the RCM gave you to kill people? Where is that one? I don't have that. I don't have the sidearm. I knew it. I told you he wouldn't have it. This isn't cause for celebration. It's bad. I would say it's very bad, yes. He turns to you. You're drunk like an asshole, Harry. Please put the stolen firearm away before you kill someone. Yeah, I'm drunk. I'm also on drugs. What are you posing for, huh? A suspect escaped, Harry. Classy is something because you were too high to assess your flight risk. Wenn man die Waffe schon bekommen hat, ja, die hätten wir 100 Pro irgendwo mal gefunden. We've read the reports, Lieutenant Kitsuragi's, we know. It doesn't matter, none of it does. We are looking at the oxygen holocaust. Times a quadrillion. I have come to know the final fate of man and the universe. Well, if you got really high, then I guess it's okay. He rubs his face in frustration. Then it's all been worth it. Let's not even get into the other suspect who shot herself in the head. Hey, woher wissen die das? Or the fact that you're Everard Claire's little peon now. Doing I don't know what for him. That's small time stuff. That's nothing. It's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 8 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder. He did everything he could. The lieutenant interrupts him. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. Here comes the cavalry. He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot and survived only because of his armor. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. I also solved the case. It's solved. All of it. Detective, it's better if I do that, he says in a lowered voice. Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. He thinks of apologizing but decides against it. He brushes a stray strand of hair out of his eye and coughs. You spent the week with him on this case. What is your take? On the case? On Lieutenant Frater Dubois. Well, a cold gust of wind, he pulls up his collar. The drinking, the lost gun, also losing his badge, that's all true. And he's been drinking on the job. The man sighs deeply. Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. He says disco about 20 times a day. It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Masovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which again, for a police officer, is a little odd. But still, he's also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always, he pinches the root of his nose, on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I don't know. But he's vocal about both of them. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea. And the drugs, of course. Amphetamine mostly. He breathes in sharply. But despite all this, he's a great detective. One of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential he is tirelessly, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out. Yeah, it was what it was. Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case. And he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a strangler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who has probably committed other murders over those years. He paused. Oh, and he also discovered a new species. New species? A colossal stick insect. It was on the island camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid. He takes out a photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind. As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered. Boom shakalaka, motherfucker. Fucking hell is that? The man cranes his neck, still looking at the photo. Is this somehow connected to the case? Detective, he turns to you. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, but also... yes. I believe the pheromone it emits may be responsible for the killer's mental degradation. The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia. He fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic. So it is connected. I must say this, he points to the photo, is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it. Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk. His tight eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away. This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time, now or never. So what is it? I want to take this hot shit back. I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. He shrugs. So I have to. Shoot. Quick nod. Honestly, anything that ends this trial is okay with me. But he's been drinking, she thinks. This is exactly how he gets out of this every time. It's bad for him, but... Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go. Okay. Besides, we have vehicles in the square and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go. Okay, let's go. I'm ready. Good. She looks at you, then Vigmar. Fuck it, let's go, let's go. The man points down the street. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock. Under the noonday sky, the great district hums, a chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls in chimney stacks, fire traps as far as the eye can see, from Main Street to Precinct 41, to Boogie Street, forking into the snow-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorites' strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Thorsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstam? No. Wigmar? Yes. De Boer? Of course. Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he doesn't, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minot, of course. Wonderful. The one looks north. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now? Aye, laut. Okay. Das war's. Dot Major. Stimme von Kuno. Nice. Fühlt sich so, als wären noch Sachen offen. Ja. Es sind auf jeden Fall noch Sachen offen, aber das, was offen ist, ist alles Sidequest-Zeug. Hauptquest ist im Endeffekt fertig. Wir haben den Mörder gefunden. Ich hätte natürlich noch ein bisschen mehr mit dem reden können und so weiter. Los. Ja, ich wollte nicht unbedingt irgendwie dann gegen Ende halt aufhören und abspeichern und beim nächsten Mal weitermachen. Weil ich eben gedacht habe, ja, das ist nicht mehr so viel und das bisschen. Aber ja, hat sich rausgestellt. Das Aufnahme läuft jetzt 2 Stunden 41 Minuten 30 Sekunden. Ja, also wenn ich mich richtig erinnern kann, ungefähr ein bisschen über eine Stunde Aufnahme kamen wir, glaube ich, bei der Insel an. Dass es dann noch 1,5 Stunden grob geht, das Spiel, hätte ich nicht gedacht. Ja. Aber ja, also ich hätte auf jeden Fall noch ein bisschen mehr Informationen holen können und so. Aber wen das Ganze interessiert, wer noch mehr sehen will, auch zu den anderen Sachen, die noch offen waren. Vielleicht gibt's YouTube irgendwie ein bisschen was, das das Ganze ein bisschen ausführlich erklärt. Vielleicht gibt's auch ein Wiki oder so. Oder Spiel selbst spielen. Und ja. Also so an sich könnte ich mir persönlich auch vorstellen, privat das nochmal im Privaten halt zu machen. Dann halt mit ein bisschen anderem Charakter, der halt vielleicht mehr auf das Intelligenzzeug geht. Also wir haben jetzt einen Charakter gespielt, der mehr auf das Emotionale und so weiter geht. Und ja. Aber so grundsätzlich Disco Elysium, muss ich persönlich sagen, ist bisher so für mich das Spiel, das am nächsten an Pen und Paper Rollenspiel wirklich rankommt. Und ja. Es ist auch sehr, ja. Also ich find's auf jeden Fall cool. Mich persönlich wird's zum Beispiel auch interessieren, ob ich eventuell durch wie ich das gespielt habe, eben als Charakter, der wirklich an alles Übernatürliche und so weiter geglaubt hat und so. Ob ich da das Ende eben mit dem Kryptid so beeinflusst habe oder ob das Ding vielleicht jedes Mal kommt. Dementsprechend, ja. Das würde es mich zum Beispiel auch interessieren, wenn ich jetzt zum Beispiel ein komplett rein wissenschaftlichen, konservativen Charakter sozusagen spielen wird. Ob dann das Insekt auch kommt oder ob sich das Ende irgendwie anders abspielt. Aber, ja. Ja, sehr, sehr cooles Spiel. Also, so als, ja, wer Fan von bisschen, ja, wer Fan von so ein bisschen anderen Pen and Paper Rollenspielen ist, das halt weniger Dungeons and Dragons ist, mehr halt irgendwie, ja, mehr modernere Sachen sozusagen. Auf jeden Fall, ja, empfehlenswert. Sehr, sehr cooles Spiel.